Hello, welcome back. I thought today I would do a little bit of a ramble, well, it might be quite a long ramble, about my thoughts on university, and just give you sort of an insight into what I think about it, what my experience has been like, and yeah, just some general thoughts. I haven't actually written anything down, so I'm very sorry if this is very rambly, but I'll try my best not to dawdle around the point too much. Yeah, I hope you enjoy, and also the my video that I did on the books that I'd read recently did really well. Well, it's doing really well, so, and that's more views than I probably ever thought I'd get on a video, so that's very cool. So thank you if you did watch that. Yeah, so okay, let's get started. So I started university in 2021, I think. Yeah. No, 2022. September 2022. And obviously I'm not going to say which university I go to, but it's in the UK, as you can probably tell by my accent. Yeah, so I started then. It has been a great time for me, but I wanted to talk more generally about university as a concept, what I think of it, whether I think people should go to uni. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about was the type of people that you'll be at uni with. Obviously this greatly depends on where you go, and it won't be the same for everyone, obviously, like anything, but I was not aware of the type of people that would be at university, or what university would be like, in a sense. Here in the UK, I mean, if you go to a Russell Group uni, or if you go to a good uni, I think honestly you're going to get some elitism, which I'm not really a fan of. I obviously from a small area. I haven't really interacted with people who are as sort of just basically really, really posh people, to be honest. Although it's not like I have had a particularly bad childhood or anything, or haven't been very fortunate, but it's just, especially at the uni I go to, a different kettle of fish completely, and especially because of the course I do, you get a lot of people like that, and that's not to say they're not nice people, and they're not obviously lovely on an individual level, like I'm sure most of them are. It's just that sometimes you're walking around and you're like, this is really not this is not what I'm used to, and not the conversations that I'm used to hearing, and just everything for me was so different in terms of the people. So yeah, I think that's one thing to consider when you move to university, is who you're going to be surrounded by, and whether that's a good fit for you. And obviously you want to go to the best. I mean, obviously the actual education is very important as well, but I think you should really consider where you're going and the type of place it is and what it prioritises, because you will get certain students going to different universities for different reasons, and you also need to consider whether you'd enjoy the societies there, or for example like Oxbridge, I think, although it's obviously great education and academically, it might not be for everyone, kind of thing, you know. So it's not always about where's just got on the best on the ranking table. It's also about you and you personally, and what you want to do at uni, what your priorities are, because university is very much not just about the academic work. So yeah, I was very surprised by the type of people that were here. Not that I probably should have known, and it's not a bad thing because you get used to it and everything. It's just different. Yeah, so I think that's something you should definitely consider. I feel like another thing that you need to think about is whether, or just uni in general, I think there's a real push for people to go to university, because it's somehow seen as the right path for everyone, and it's just something that you should do. Well, at least, you know, in my experience in school, it was very pushed upon people to go to uni, and that you need to try and get into the best uni. And I really just don't think that's true. I don't think university is for everyone. It by no means is it for everyone, and I don't think it's as important as people think it is. Like, obviously this is not, I know that not everywhere it will be stressed as really important, but yeah, I think that you have to really consider, is this what I want to do? Because another thing that I think is that there is no point in going to university if you are not really invested in the subject that you're taking, that you're reading, or that you're studying, because it's hard work. It is such hard work, and people just, they don't understand that getting a degree, unless you've done it, that getting a degree is difficult. And obviously this will depend on the university you go to as well, but it's really difficult sometimes, even in a subject like mine where you don't have many contact hours. You're still really you're thinking about it all the time. It's always a thought in the back of your mind, you know, what's this next essay gonna be on, and what am I gonna, when do I need to get this done by? And it's just always in the back of your head. So yeah, I think that's definitely something you need to consider, because if you go to university and you don't really like the subject you're doing, or you've just been in school because you wanted good grades or something like that, that won't get you very far, because uni is about having a mind of your own, about being able to come up with creative ideas, especially I'm talking from a humanities perspective, but in STEM I'm sure it's even more difficult, because you actually have to keep up with the work much more. There's much more demand on you to sort of every week to do certain things and to keep up, and you have exams. I'm sorry, I'm speaking so quickly. I've had a coffee and that always just makes me so on edge. I think there's people who I know from school who went to university, and really it wasn't for them, and it wasn't what they wanted to do. They sort of had an interest, but they didn't pursue what they really loved because someone else told them that they needed to go to university and that that's probably the best option. And also there's an idea that, you know, university is just a good thing to do anyway, but I don't think it is, and I think you should really consider, do I want to go and do an apprenticeship? Do I want to just go and work? Do I want to I don't know, whatever you want to do. Do I want to go and do something like relates to beauty, something that I'm passionate about, or start, I don't know, making films or something like that? Just, I think it's really pushed upon people, and it's very unfair, because not enough consideration is given to the other things that you could do. So yeah, I would just say that if you aren't fussed about doing your degree, if it doesn't feel integral to who you are, or you don't have a real passion for it, I wouldn't do it, because it's a lot of work and you have to be so self-motivated and you have to do so much learning by yourself, especially a humanities student. It's not, I don't know how. I really do love English especially, and I don't find it a slog to study it, but I'm really glad that I did pick this course, because I think anything else I would have felt like I was just having to get through it, really. And that's not to say that when uni is on I'm stressed and I'm feeling like, God, I wish I didn't have an essay to do and all of those things, but at the back of my mind is that I really actually enjoy the themes that we cover in books and the topics we cover in philosophy. So it's good to do something that you feel really passionately about and that you know that you're going to get enjoyment out of. So yeah, what else would I say? I think also something about university is that it's a big step up from living with your parents and just life as a teen, as a kid. It really teaches you to stand on your own 2 feet, but in the same breath, that means that you should know yourself, or you should try and know yourself enough at 17 or whenever to think, can I be away from home for this long? Can I, I'm assuming here, if you go to a university that's far away, can I really manage this, because you're so young at 18 or even 17 that's not something to be ashamed of. If you feel like you're not actually ready to just fly the nest and to move, because I look back now at my freshers week and I'm like, I would not want to do that again. It was so scary in many ways. I mean, you're just plonked in this new city, you don't know anyone, well, at least I didn't know anyone nobody from my school came to my university. It was a completely new chapter, and that was what I needed, and it was great. But I understand why that would be really difficult for some people, and you can do uni at any point in your life, and waiting a year or 2 years, or people who are grown adults and middle-aged people doing on university courses. But yeah, it's just something that I think you should consider, whether you're actually ready for what uni entails aside from just the academia, because it's a real change. You've got to be so independent, and you have to really make sure that you're able to do all the things that you need to do and that you're just emotionally ready. So yeah, I think you should really consider it on a personal level, not just because all your friends are doing it, or you think it's the only thing you've got to do, because that's not true. And everyone has different strengths, and sometimes, and you know, a lot of academic things aren't for everyone, and that's totally fair enough, because a lot of stuff you have to learn at uni is very dull, so yeah, I think the overall thing is just to make sure that you're considering it on a personal level and really thinking about you. And I mean, I'm saying you, I don't know whether anyone watching this is at the age of going to university, but just in general, I think uni students or prospective students should think about whether it's whether it's for them on a very personal level. Another point that goes along with that is actually that uni can be really lonely, very lonely, especially if you're someone who's quite introverted or doesn't make friends easily, like me. Not doesn't make friends easily, but it doesn't form connections with everyone, or doesn't find a common ground with everyone. I think you should really, you should know that it can be a very lonely place, especially in the first few weeks when you don't know anyone really, and you might have some friends, but they're not friends in the way that you really want them to be yet. They're just more people maybe you go out with or your acquaintances with. And something else I wanted to say was that there's no right way of doing university. When you go to uni, you'll meet all sorts of people. I mean, I say that there is depending where you go, there's a type of person. Obviously, university in general can be, it's just catered for a certain demographic, and that's a whole other issue. But there's no right way of doing uni, because you can be, you'll meet so many different people, and you'll see that actually it's a good space to be yourself. There's actually no especially where I go, you can be anyone you want to be, really, I think, which is great. But if you come from a small place, you realise that you can just express yourself, and that in turn that kind of means that you can do uni in any way you want. You don't have to go out all the time. I've never been out to a club in this city, because it's just not me, really, and I don't enjoy that sort of thing, and that's fine. That is what it is, and it hasn't made my university experience any less amazing. It's just it's just who I am, and I decided, well, not decided, but uni made me very confident in just being who I am and not trying to do things to please other people, not going out and drinking for the sake of it. And I think that you can do it however you want. If you want to do that, you can. If you want to be really, really focused on academia from day dot, then you can be. There's no... You should never feel like, oh, these are your best years of your life, and therefore I should have had the most amount of fun that is how it's seen in other people's eyes. Everyone has a different definition of fun, and I think that you should just be very confident in what you want to do, and maybe this is the place to find out what you want to do. But yeah, being kind of okay with just approaching your university life how you want to. Yeah, I think I've probably rambled enough. I'm not sure how long this video is, but I really enjoyed talking about these things and these topics. So if there's any more that you want me to cover, I'd be happy to do that. I think the main thing is that it's a very individual thing, and there shouldn't be any pressure to go to university. There shouldn't be any pressure on how to be at university or who to be at university. It's just, it's one path in life that you can take. So those are my thoughts. I hope you enjoyed listening to them. Thank you for anyone who has watched and enjoyed, and I hope that you'll also join me in my next video. I hope you have a good day, week, a good day, night, afternoon, whatever it is. So thank you.